So I think it looks like most of our families have connected, and for the sake of timeliness today, we'll get our presentation started. So I'm going to kick it off to our Director of Admission, Ms. Denise Turner, to get us started for today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for sharing your lunch hour with us if you're on my schedule. For those of you that I have not had the privilege to meet, my name is Denise Turner, and I am the Director of Admissions and Tuition Assistance here at Trinity Prep. And joining me today on this information session is Victoria Johnston, our Associate Director of Admissions and Tuition Assistance. And she also spearheads our International Student Affairs as the Director of that programming, along with Lucy Carney, who is the first voice and face of Trinity Prep Admissions as our admissions coordinator. So we just want to thank you again for joining us, and certainly hope that today's workshop is really beneficial and helpful to you as you work to make an informed decision on your educational needs for the 22-23 school year and beyond. Just a couple of quick housekeeping items. On the very bottom of the Zoom screen, you see a little chat bubble or chat icon. At any time during the presentation today, please feel free to pop in there and ask a question, or pose if you're having any issues of any sort hearing or seeing the presentation. We will be monitoring that chat the entire morning. And then at the end of our session today, we are going to open up the floor to questions and answers. So if your question didn't get answered during the presentation, please know that we will address it at the end. And we want this to be as informative and as engaging as possible for you all. So let's take a deep dive into why Trinity Prep. College counseling, we really start with college counseling with your student as a freshman. We will be working with them 2 times during their freshman year, once in the first semester, once in the second semester, then again as a sophomore, once in the first semester, once in the second semester, where they're going to be meeting with their college counselors, putting their roadmap together. So what's your top 10 schools that you really want to go to or that you think you're interested in? And what are some of those requirements that those schools are going to have placed upon their applicants to ensure admissions into those schools? And the college counselors lay it out with your student. The what, the why, the how we're going to do that, and then the fun and games begin. As a junior, your student will be required, and I use that term loosely, we're not going to hold them down and handcuff them to make sure that they do it, but we certainly do require that they meet with their college counselor a minimum of 10 times. So essentially, we're in school 10 months out of the year, so that's 1 time a month that we say, hey, come in, let's meet. We have a meeting on the calendar, hold you accountable, get in here, let's make it happen. Again, ensuring those college admissions applications are completed. What is our goal, which has been met the last couple of years, is by the time your student is a senior, the end of October, they have applied to all of the schools that they wanted to apply to. And now they get to take a deep breath, sit back, and just wait for admissions decisions to be released. So we are nearing the end of October right now. So we have about 93% of our graduating class of 22 seniors have completed the application process for their schools of choice. We've got a few more days to complete this cycle this month, and then they're going to sit back and wait for decisions to be released. So November 1st starts to become an exciting time at Trinity Prep as a senior. 100% of our senior graduating class of 21 did go on to higher education. I think it's worth noting that the class of 2021 did receive over $16 million. Yes, I said that correctly, $16 million in collegiate scholarships. So the second half of the presentation this morning is going to be about funding your education, and you will find how beneficial it is to actually fund your education now at Trinity Prep so that those that payoff will be in college scholarships in higher education. We have 4 times the national average of college acceptance into your Ivy League plus schools, your Brown, your Dukes, your Yales, your Harvards, your UNC Chapel Hills, your Wake Forest, your UCLAs. We actually had a student go to Oxford University from the class of 2021, which is super exciting to see a global alumni attending. Our students are very, very, very prepared for college, not only from academics, but from the time management standpoint, from the accountability standpoint, from learning how to become their own advocate, which is obviously beneficial for all of us, not just in college, but beyond. Our matriculation statistics are found on our website, and it's safe to say out loud that we have alums that have attended the top 100 universities across this country. And all that information can be found on the website under the matriculation information in the college counseling pages. Our college counselors are very well respected in the industry of collegiate counseling. They have received many, many accolades through the years of the Rising Star Award, which is given to those college counselors that have very high acceptance rates for their students, placement rates for their students into those universities with scholarships given. So we're really proud of our college counseling program, and it is hands down the strongest program and department in any private education in the state of Florida that you will find. And I challenge you to do some comparison and find out how well that team does. Our passion to learn is another reason to attend Trinity Prep. You know, it is definitely a very family-oriented atmosphere here, both in and out of the classroom. It is very collaborative, engaging, discussion, experiential based learning, where our teachers and faculty and staff actually become mentors to our students, not only while they're students, but when they graduate. This last weekend, we just had homecoming. And I can tell you, as a newer member of the Trinity Prep community, it was super exciting to attend some of those alumni events and see our successful alums coming back and the relationships that were built at Trinity, and have them come back and see everybody and the hugs and the high fives, and it was pretty exciting. So mentoring is just one of the many aspects that our fabulous faculty and teachers do here at Trinity Prep with our students. Our class sizes are very small, and they're very small on purpose. So in our core classes, it's about a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. Again, really to continue to accelerate that mentoring, collaborative, discussion-based learning at Trinity Prep, which does set up our students for collegiate learning. We offer 31 AP classes at Trinity Prep, 55 honor classes at Trinity Prep. I will tell you this, no matter what the academic level or interest or ability of your student, we can challenge them on all fronts. Whether it's math, whether it's science, whether it's English, creative writing, you name it, we can challenge you based upon your level and where you want to be and where you want to go with that. 90% of our students in the class of 2021 received a 3 or higher on the advanced placement test. For those of you who don't know, what does that mean? That translates into college credits, which translates into less financial burden in college when you're getting credit for some of those classes that you took in high school. So that's always a win. Our library is what I really call the heart and soul of our campus. If you have not had an opportunity to visit the campus, I encourage you to do so you can really see that library transformed into a student union, if you will. In the morning, students gather there. In the afternoon, students are there studying, working in small groups. And then in the afternoon, it becomes a study area where students get together, work in small groups, prepare for presentations, study, sit quietly, learning, or just engaging with one another. We do offer the widest course collection curriculum in all of Central Florida at Trinity Prep. And one of the things that I love most about Trinity is our advisory program. So our advisory program is another example of that mentoring, collaborative, discussion-based learning that takes place here on this campus. Every student is assigned an advisor. And that advisor and advisory group, maybe 10 or 11 other students, they meet 2 to 3 times a week with that group and their advisor. And that advisor really guides them and mentors them through all things Trinity. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Trinity Prep, something that happened to that student over the weekend. Maybe they're competing in a huge equestrian programming, or they are part of a chess club, or they got a new dog, or something great happened in their family life. They share that during advisory. It really is a chance to build a really strong network for our students with each other. That advisor guides them on classes, on ways to get involved in Trinity, helps them navigate some of the hurdles that they might feel that they're facing. In addition, that advisor becomes the family's, what I call, lifeline to all things Trinity. So if you're curious how your student is doing, what's going on at campus, you're not feeling like you're getting a lot of information. We all know how teenagers can be. You're maybe not getting a lot of information from your student. At any given moment, at any given time, you can pick up the phone, send an email to your student's advisor and say, hey, just touching base, checking in, see what's going on. And they immediately respond. They truly are your bridge to your students' academic and social well-being and health here at Trinity Prep. Our passion to play. We love to play at Trinity Prep. You know, our sports programs are fantastic. We have this year alone, 77% of our student body is participating in athletics. So we have 77% of our students are student athletes. In the class of 2021, 13% of the graduating class of 123 went on to perform as a student athlete in higher education. We offer 56 sporting events, or sports teams, if you will, with 25 different sports at Trinity Prep between the middle school and the upper school. So lots of variety. We encourage our students to get involved in sports. We will never say you can't be more than a single sport athlete. We want you to play a fall sport, a spring sport, a winter sport. If you want to play football and you want to play soccer, absolutely, let's do it. If you want to be on the tennis team and the golf team and the swim team, absolutely, let's do it. Not only does it help you be more well-rounded, right, as a student, but it looks great on your college applications, and it just helps you, again, build that sense of community and take advantage of the Trinity Prep student experience, which is becoming well-rounded and getting your hands on a little bit of everything until you figure out exactly what you do love to do. We do have an Olympic-size swim pool that supports our Trinity Prep Aquatics program, which is state-of-the-art, unbelievably crazy good. Not only do we have a high school and middle school teams, we also have a club team that is hosted here at Trinity Prep. So you don't have to be a Trinity Prep student to be a part of our aquatics programming, which I know many of our new students coming in found out about Trinity through our Trinity Prep Aquatics programming. Our passion to perform. Our fine arts program is truly fantastic. It is led by Miss Janine Papan, who is a professional actor in her own right. And she brings an amazing culmination of hands-on experience to our fine arts programming. We offer 61 different fine arts course opportunities within the program. The thing that, again, intrigues me the most about our fine arts is our master classes. We offer 36 master classes. Those master classes are taught by experts in the industry, whether it's a poet, whether it's an actress, a musician. They come to our campus and offer a workshop, if you will, called a master class. The one that is probably stands out the most to me as one that I'm like, whoo, I'd like a do-over in high school and do that, is we take a group of students who are attending our theater master class to New York City for a long weekend for a workshop. They got to experience 5 Broadway plays, not only in front of the house, but behind the house. They got to work with directors and producers doing mock auditions, as well as learning the ropes, if you will, of how to audition, when to audition, and all the behind the scenes. So I can't imagine a high school senior or junior or sophomore or freshman experiencing that. But you talk about a growth opportunity and an opportunity to build your connection network. It's pretty impressive. And like I said, I'd like a mulligan. If I have any golf enthusiasts on the call, I'd like a mulligan for that one and get a do-over to take some of those classes that we offer. We will have 20 plus performances this year alone out of our fine arts programming. And fine arts is comprised of, again, theater, music, orchestra, jazz band, drama, chorus, musical theater, creative writing, photography, yearbook. All of that falls under our fine arts programming. Excuse me, Trinity Prep is the #1 STEM program for our upper school in the entire state of Florida. Our STEM programming is very strong. We are affiliated and partnered with Siemens. We partner with Disney HD. We partner with AT&T, and we partner with Lockheed Martin. We do a lot of robotics competitions. We have robotics teams that travel all over and compete. Last year or 2 years ago, we were in a huge robotics competition where you had to build a robot that traveled down the length of the basketball floor, got to the 3-point line, and had to shoot a basket. So imagine that. And Trinity Prep was one of the many schools that competed, and one of the only schools that was successfully built a robot that could actually hit the point. The 3-point shot. So we're very proud of that. Susan Frederick, who is our STEM chairperson, wins awards every year for her contribution as a catalyst in helping students develop careers in engineering and put together a portfolio to get them into engineering programs in college. Additionally, Siemens and Lockheed Martin, in their partnership with us, affords a couple of upper school students every summer to do an internship in the engineering industry, which is typically something not found at the high school level. But again, because we are a college preparatory program, we offer that, which is something typically that you wouldn't see unless you were a freshman or sophomore in college doing those internships. So it's a college level internship that our students are being able to participate in during the summer months. So I love that about our STEM programming as well. So I just kind of want to take a little bit of a quick look at the application process for the 22-23 school year, just to give you a little quick tips on it. So the application process 100% done electronically. Victoria has captured up here a screenshot that shows our website where you can access the application portal. So you'd want to go onto the Apply Now button, which is the yellow bottom left button. And you hit that and you put in your email address, and then it'll ask you to set up a password that you want to remember those 2 items, because that's how you get back into the portal to add in additional information that is required to complete the application process. I'm sure you've heard me say many times, it's not super painful. It's not crazy hard. The application for information, the application for admissions is information about your family and your student. There is a student questionnaire. The student questionnaire is simply 2 essay prompts that your student does need to answer. 250 words or less is preferred. We do read each and every essay answer as part of the admissions process. And while we do love everything they have to say, we feel pretty safe in saying they can say it in 250 words or less. And I do say student, that is something for the student to respond to, not the parents, please. A letter of recommendation. So a letter of recommendation, we ask that it be from an English teacher or a math teacher who can speak to your student's ability to be successful in the academic world of Trinity Prep. Again, knowing that it's collaborative, discussion-based learning, as well as their ability to fit in all things Trinity. One letter of recommendation is required. If you would like to submit more than one, you are certainly welcome to do so. Grades. So we do not require official transcripts to release a decision on your admissions application. Official transcripts are required upon enrollment into Trinity Prep, but not for admissions into Trinity Prep. So grades are, if you are applying for grades 6th, 7th, or 8th, it is a year and a half of grade or report cards, if you will. So the first quarter has just finished here in Seminole and Orange County. So if your student is currently, let's say, at a public school in Orange County, we're just looking for this last 9 weeks of grades. So if you're applying for 6th grade, I'm looking for all of 4th grade report card and this first 9 weeks of 5th grade of report cards to be uploaded to meet that 1.5 year of admission requirement for grades. If you are applying to grades 10th, 11th, or 12th, it is 2.5 years of grades. So if you are applying to, let's say, 11th grade, it's going to be all of 8th grade, all of 9th grade, and this last 9-week progress report, otherwise known as a report card right now, of the 9th grade year so that we can issue admissions decisions. You can scan them and upload them as a PDF. You can screenshot them and upload them as a PDF. The only thing I would say from a housekeeping standpoint is if you screenshot and upload, we must be able to see your student's name, the year, and the school that they're currently attending. That's super important for us to be able to have a visual on that. And then we're going to have a student interview. That student interview can be done via Zoom, or you can bring your student into campus and interview one-on-one with us. We love personal interaction. We're pretty hands-on here, but it does not have to be that. We will schedule either one according to your needs and wants, and happy to do so. I will just point out that there is no points. You don't get bonus points for coming into campus. So one does not weigh more than the other when it comes to the interest interview. It just is whatever is easier for your family and your schedule. So please know that. So I think I've wrapped up the little bit of information about Trinity Prep. I think we've talked a little bit about the application process. I am now going to turn it over to Victoria to talk about how do you fund your education. Victoria, it's all yours.
Perfect. So once again, I'm Victoria Johnson, and I'm the Associate Director of Tuition Assistance here at Trinity Prep. Denise has told you all about the why, and now I will tell you a little bit more about the how. So what is our tuition assistance program? Trinity Prep allocates approximately $2.1 million in need-based financial aid annually for qualified families in grades 6 through 12. Many families are going to qualify because it's related to the needs of Trinity Prep students. So I encourage you to apply, especially if this is your first experience with our financial aid program. It's better to find out that you're ineligible than to leave money on the table. So in addition to it being our application is need blind. So when our admissions application is need blind. So what that means is if you qualify for a tuition assistance award, this is not going to impact your admissions decision. The admissions committee and the financial aid committee meet separately. So when you're able to, if you're able to submit your tuition assistance application within 10 days of your admissions application, so you're able to receive a timely award. The award comes in your student's admissions acceptance contract, so it's helpful if you do them pretty close in time frame so that you're able to receive the acceptance of your student, then receive the award that you are eligible for. We use a third party to conduct the comprehensive financial assessment, and all of our awards and scholarships are need-based. So if you apply through TADS, which is our third-party provider, and I'll tell you a little bit more about TADS in a moment, you'll be considered for all of our awards and scholarships in which you may qualify. If you're a recipient of an award or scholarship, you will be contacted by the committee directly. So what is TADS? So TADS is used to objectively determine each family's need for assistance for Trinity Prep. So TADS stands for Tuition Aid Data Services. So what you see here is the first time you'll be on TADS website. So when thinking about what you would be doing is you'd be going to the purple bar for financial assessment. So we're going to tell you a little bit more via a video to show you exactly what it will look like. Just so you know, TADS provides a confidential, comprehensive analysis of how much each family is able to reasonably contribute to the cost of their tuition in their students' education. The TADS website is secure and they've been in business for over 50 years. All the information that you provide in regard to your financial aid status is totally confidential. So do not worry about that information. It's confidential both to TADS and to Trinity Prep. Disbursement of the funds for your financial aid is contingent upon you being eligible through TADS. So your application must be completed, it must be eligible and in good standing for TADS in order for TPS to get the information to review. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that shortly. A review from TADS can take up to 2 weeks. So it is important that you submit your application in a timely way. Once TADS has approved your application, our Trinity Prep team will review your application by committee. Our committee meets bi-weekly and will begin making allocations directly after our February 12th deadline. It's important that you allow enough time for both TADS to review your application and the committee to review your file in advance of that deadline. Again, if you miss the deadline, this does not mean funds will not be available. Funds become limited after the deadline, but it's always advantageous to be in the front of the line for funding. So just something to think about. And we'll go into a little bit more detail about literally how to apply in a moment. So thinking about our steps to apply. So exactly what do we do? It's always best to begin your TADS application within 10 days of your admissions application because your student must be accepted in order to receive financial aid. You'll find the link for the financial aid application on our website. Much like our admissions application, everything is available online. When you go to our website, and again, I'll show you this via video, you're going to go to a blue bar labeled Apply for Financial Aid. So you'll go to Admissions, Financial Aid, and you'll click right into their blue bar. Then you'll see the screen that I had showed you on our last website that will allow you to click and create your own financial assessment. Upon clicking into the TADS website, you're going to want to create some login information. This is going to be different from your Trinity Prep login information. It's going to log you into the TADS website directly. And then you will go ahead and click on Financial Assessment. You will select the school in which you're applying for. Some people are applying to many schools. Some people are only applying to Trinity Prep. If you're just applying to Trinity Prep, remember, we're located in Winter Park. Typically, this is the only thing I find that families have difficulty with in their application process. Sometimes people will think Trinity Prep in the Orlando area. Although we are in the Orlando area, technically our address is in Winter Park. So when you're searching for us, you'll mention we're a school in Florida and our city is Winter Park. And this will allow Trinity Prep to come down in your drop down. If for some reason you don't see us, just double check the city and state because it's most likely selecting the wrong location. Then you're simply going to provide the requested information. And you're wondering, February 12th, that seems early. but we're using prior year taxes in order to help you guys complete this in a timely way, because we know money can provoke anxiety. You want to know if your student is accepted and what you'll need to pay in order to fund your student's education. So we understand using prior year taxes can be helpful for families to complete the financial aid application. If there is a drastic difference in your circumstance, we'll talk about a special circumstances letter in a moment that can detail out and alleviate some of that pressure in filing your taxes in advance of that financial aid deadline. If it becomes an issue, you can always contact me directly about your timeframes. So when thinking about this application, you put in all your information and you've hit submit. Am I done? Not necessarily. After you hit submit, you have to ensure that your documents are reviewed and there are no questions about your application in order to make sure your file is complete. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how to be sure you've completed your application in a moment. But again, if your student is accepted and you're eligible for financial aid, you will be able to view your student's financial aid award in your student's admissions contract. We ask that you do not sign your student's admissions contract until you're aware of your financial commitment. So again, if your student has applied, been accepted, I can hold their space until you complete your TADS application, and we'll contact you if space is beginning to be tight or unavailable in that grade level to encourage you to finish that application. But again, we ask that you do not commit to Trinity Prep until we're able to give you your financial commitment in your contract. So we will begin doling out those awards after the February 12th deadline. So how do you complete your file? You'll submit all these items to TADS, which I'll show you online. It's actually pretty quick. It will only take about 10 minutes. But after entering that information, TADS must understand and do a comprehensive review to understand if all the information you entered jives with your taxes. So once you've submitted all your requested documentation and you feel satisfied with your application, remember, hit submit. Forgetting to submit your application can be a problem too. So please do remember to hit submit. Once you've submitted your application, please follow up with TADS 1 week after your submission to ensure they have reviewed your documents and your financial situation does sound like your financial situation. Ensure that there are no questions or outstanding documents that are needed from TADS, because if there are outstanding documents, your file will not be reviewed by Trinity Prep because there are too many questions TADS may have. If there's a question or something that you may need to submit, please submit those additional docs and answer those questions. And then once you've submitted those additional things, give TADS a call to make sure that your items have been reviewed and they have no questions. Once it has been reviewed and your application is complete, they'll send both a completion notification to you as well as Trinity Prep. Sometimes it can be helpful, especially if you have a complex financial situation, maybe you own your own business or you have a special circumstance, to let me know as well that your application is complete, so then I can review it and make sure everything corresponds with the things that we've been talking about. Although that's an unnecessary step, sometimes it makes people feel better if they can talk to someone about their financial situation and know things have come to fruition. So if you ever need to call or have questions through the process, know that I am here for you. But once your application has been reviewed and approved, and your file is in good standing, your file will be reviewed by our admissions committee. And what that means is you'll go through a review and we'll check out TADS allocations and get you an award and post that to your contract. Once you've been reviewed by that financial aid committee and your allocation is ready, you'll be prompted via email to log into your contract, and then you will be able to view your award. Know that we're an open door if you have questions or it seems as if your award is not representative of your situation. I'm always happy to talk to you really about anything, and know that it will always remain confidential. So who's eligible for financial aid, and when do I get my award? So when thinking about who's eligible, many people are eligible for financial aid, but at this time, you know your financial situation best. Our third party will look at your debt to income ratio in order to give Trinity Prep a fair assessment as to what you're able to pay for your students' education. In terms of students that are ineligible, international students in which Trinity Prep specifically holds your visa documents will be ineligible due to the requirements of holding those visa documents. Otherwise, typically families are eligible. eligible to apply. Now, if you have questions about that or questions about your debt to income ratios or special circumstances that may allow you to be ineligible, you can always call me and we can dialogue about that offline, and we'll have general questions after this as well. Typically, families that will qualify will be under the combined income of $180,000. But once again, that does not mean if you're above that threshold or way below that threshold, you will automatically qualify. It really has to do with the complexities of your financial situation. So again, if you have a special circumstance, for example, I like to use the example win the lottery, but sometimes it doesn't fit to this particular circumstance. But per se, you won the lottery but forgot to pay taxes, so then they took it all back. You might need to have a special circumstances letter to explain a little bit about what happened. Typically, these things are related to things, ebbs and flows that you may experience in life. We ask that if you're writing a special circumstances letter, you provide detailed enough information about those circumstances, the direct impact that's had on your family or your financial situation, and a direct ask to understand what we need to do to make this a feasible place for your student to study long term. So those are helpful letters if there are strange circumstances in your finances or stuff that your taxes might not necessarily allude to. So you're always more than welcome to dialogue with me about when a special circumstances letter may be relevant to your situation. So when will I receive my award? First rounds of awards will be issued directly after the financial aid deadline. Our committee will meet bi-weekly after that to issue financial aid awards on complete applications. However, it is important to remember that financial aid will be limited after our deadline, and then it will be extremely limited the further we go into our semester. Remember, we waitlisted in all grades by May, so I would always recommend doing your best to try to meet the deadlines. Again, not everybody will complete their file by that deadline. Life happens. However, keeping in good contact with us and allowing us to understand when your file will complete will help you to gain the award that might help you finance your student's education at a wonderful place. And you'll receive the awards via email. So the next thing I'm going to do is give you a video tutorial of exactly what this will look like at home, so it doesn't seem like a daunting process. I promise the application sometimes only takes 10 minutes. So I'm going to switch over to our video, and someone just give me a thumbs up if you can see the Trinity Prep on the screen.
You're good.
Perfect. All right, so here we go. I will talk through the video to tell you a little bit about what's going on as you see things, okay? So you're going to come to our Trinity Prep website. It's pretty quick and easy, trinityprep.org. You're going to go to admissions. I know you can see it, it's got that big drop down. Then you're going to click onto financial aid. All the things that I mentioned today are going to be listed on that website. It's going to tell you all about how to apply. It's pretty simple. You're going to click that blue button right there, and you're going to go to that screen with the mauve bar that I talked about. You're going to click financial aid assessment, and then you're going to either sign in or log in. If you're a new family to us, you're going to create your account. If you are a returning family, you're going to sign in, and you're going to enter your information to create that account, and then you're going to submit. We got to remember to hit submit. Sometimes we forget. So this is what I mentioned. Most difficult part of the application is just remembering where we are. We are in the state of Florida, and then we are also located in Winter Park. So as you can see, when you select the city and state, if you were to select Orlando, we wouldn't come down in the drop down. So just do keep that in mind. So finding your school, we are Trinity Prep. So you're going to select your school program. If you're applying for multiple schools, you will be able to do that there as well. You'll notice we have our deadlines. Our deadline is February 12th, and they will not review any more applications unless you contact us directly after May 1st. It's pretty quick and easy. You're going to fill out your information. You're going to notice it's going to talk about who you are, your work, your income, and your awards. And it's actually pretty simple. So you'll go ahead and you'll start that application, and it will actually go by pretty quickly. So long as you have a good hold on your kind of like your financial situation. It will ask you about your bills, your income, and then if you submit your taxes, the full file, typically that will complete your application. So I'm going to go back to our presentation. And someone give me a thumbs up if we're back to the Post-it notes probably everybody has on their fridge.
You're good.
Perfect. All right. And then so I'm going to toss it back to Denise Turner to tell us a little bit about what rolling admissions is and how this will impact your application as well as your tuition assistance application.
Yep, awesome. Thank you so much, Victoria. So Trinity Prep is on a rolling admissions schedule here. And what that means is as soon as an application for admissions is complete, we submit it to the admissions review committee. The admissions review committee meets, they review, they read all those great essays, and then decisions are released accordingly. So now that the first 9 weeks of this school year have completed, we should start to see many of the applications that are in there complete because they'll be able to upload grades. So we'll be reviewing those and issuing decisions starting actually next week on applications that have been completed. You heard Victoria mention that last year we were on a waiting list in all grades starting as early as May 1st. So applying early and completing your application early is really important to ensure a space is available for your students' respective grade. We are happy to meet, discuss anything that you'd like to do to help you as you work through the application process, or if you have remaining questions about what Trinity is like for your student, you can certainly reach out to us at any time. For those of you who were not able to meet us for an open house, we had 2 open houses in October. Our next open house will be on March 5th. It'll be in the morning. I'm assuming 9:30 to 11:30 is kind of our magic hour when we do that. So look for information on that to be posted on the website soon so that you can sign up and connect again with Trinity Prep. Victoria, can you talk about a few other ways that parents and students can connect with us?
For sure. I mean, once again, you can always come down for a tour, a personal tour, or even a financial aid consultation if you have questions or concerns. I know many families love to dialogue about this stuff in depth. So feel free. We are an open door. Just make an appointment and come on in. But if your student needs a little convincing, we also have shadow days. All of our first semester dates are available online, but this is a quick visit where your student gets to spend some time in our classroom. So it's from 8:30 to 10:45. They can complete their student interview during this time, but it is a killer way for your student to get into dynamic classes, meet some people, and understand what it's like to be a Trinity Prep Saint. And these are really great days to get your student on board. And we make sure they have a great time, and we customize the visit to the things that really bring them joy about school. I've had a number of kids already this year that wanted to spend the rest of the day with us. So I promise I'm pretty good at selling your kids the school and getting them a wonderful educational experience here. They might even come back with some new facts for you. So definitely sign up for our shadow days online. It is a big treat to see your kids. So if you have questions about that or tuition assistance, know that I'm here for you. You know, again, our financial aid deadline, one of my favorite things, it is on February 12th, because right after that deadline, we can get people really excited about funding their education. So if you haven't already begun your application, please do apply. I'm pretty prompt with the financial aid. So again, if you have questions, concerns, know that I'm here for you. And we love helping people to finance their education at Trinity Prep. Just go on our website and apply. Do your best to apply before the deadline of February 12th. And, you know, again, we're here for some questions. I know financial aid has some more personal elements to them. So if there's anything that you want to email me directly, I can always connect with you after the call about specifics to your own financial situation. However, if there are questions that are for the good of the group, I would love to hear any questions in the chat at this time. And then Denise and I are around to field any questions that you guys might have.
And again, just a few housekeeping for anybody who joined us after we started. In the bottom of your screen, Zoom is a little chat button. It literally says chat with a little bubble. You can pop in there and ask any questions that you have regarding admissions, Trinity Prep, financing your education, and Victoria will be happy to field those questions out loud to the group. We will actually, read the question first and then let you know what the answer is. So you're not like, what was the question to that one?
Okay, so
are there any in there, Victoria?
Yes, Amanda had a wonderful question because I am really driving home to hit submit, but in our Trinity Prep application, there is actually our admissions application, there is actually no submit button. Once you're complete, it will just render the information into our admissions committee. So although in financial aid, you definitely have to hit submit,
Yes.
in our admissions application, once you have submitted all the requirements, and your portal will let you know that via the required items. Once they are orange, when you're good to go, they'll turn green. Again, you don't have to hit submit there. It will automatically submit to us, but financial aid, as that it is a third party, you do have to hit that submit. Does anybody else have any additional questions? Financial aid, admissions, Trinity Prep, fun things, anything?
And just to remind everybody again, I know it's a little bit confusing on the dates, but admissions application, there are no deadlines per se because it's rolling admissions. So as soon as an application is completed, a decision is released. In order to qualify, to see if you qualify for any financial aid assistance, that application has to be completed by February 12th. So two different things we're talking about: applications, admissions application and tuition assistance application.
So an additional question has to do about our grading requirements. So the parent is specifically asking about a 9th grader and the admission grade requirements, which is 1.5 years of grades, and then 10 and up, it's 2.5 years of grades. Denise, could you just go into a little further about what we're looking for in terms of grade submissions?
Yep. So if somebody is applying for 9th grade, we require 1.5 years of grades on them. So that would be all of 7th and then this last 9 weeks, if you will, of the 8th grade year. So that's 1.5 years for anybody who's applying 6, 7, 8, or 9. Starting in grade 10, we are looking for 2.5 years. So if you're applying for grade 10, it's all of 7th, all of 8th, and this last 9 weeks of the 9th grade year.
Awesome. Another question that we have, so what is our current yearly tuition? So I know that we likely did not mention that, however, important when thinking about financing your education.
Yep.
So our current tuition is $24,385. However, as you guys are here, you know that we have a generous financial aid program that is thinking about what your family is able to contribute toward education. So many different, families on the tuition assistance program will receive different awards. And like I mentioned, if you receive an award that is not representative of your financial situation, we are happy to dialogue with you about what it would take to make it work for you and your student at Trinity Prep. Denise, would you have anything to add there?
Nope. I would just say that you don't know until you apply for tuition assistance. And I encourage everybody to apply because nobody knows your financial health better than you and better than the company, our third-party service provider that makes that determination. It is 100% need-based and it is 100% income to debt ratio based. So you could have a very nice, yearly salary, but you could have $500,000 in student debt. I don't know. I hope not, but maybe. So they look at all of those things to determine your need and to determine your award. And then they let Trinity Prep know this family is eligible for this kind of funding. Last year, we have over 2.1 million that was awarded in need-based funding, which comprised 21% of our student body at Trinity Prep was on tuition assistance.
So I'll add to what Denise said that will also help me field another question in the chat is, although we don't offer a sibling discount per se, you had 5 students coming to a tuition paying school. That's a good amount of money coming out. So that may really adjust your eligibility for tuition assistance. Again, I say 5 students because that's a particular scenario. However, maybe it's 2 students. Maybe you're adding another student to a tuition paying school and you have 2 in college. There are a lot of circumstances that will allow you to be eligible for assistance here at Trinity. Although we don't offer a direct sibling discount, that may actually be more advantageous depending on your financial situation. And then another person had asked about if you are awarded financial aid and you are accepted, do you still need to wait to sign the contract? No. Do secure up your financial aid within the time frames of our allocation and our contract deadlines. Once we have offered you the tuition assistance award, unless you give us a call and let us know you need a deadline extension for whatever reason that may be. Maybe you're on vacation, maybe you have questions, maybe you're in the moving process. We would ask that you sign your contract within the deadlines if you're offered tuition assistance, because again, there are many families looking for assistance. So, if you could be kind and respectful in us being able to allocate that out if you do not want to choose Trinity Prep. But again, we are happy to work with you if you need a little bit of movement of those deadlines. We understand there are a lot of new movers to our community and a lot of people making big decisions for their students. So it's just about being in good communication with us. And if you have questions, I would say if you're unsure about what to do, give me a call before committing to something that you're unsure about. So I'm happy to review the contract, your award, or really anything with you at all in advance of you making a commitment. But once your award is good to go and your student has been accepted, that is a perfect time for you to commit to Trinity Prep. So we have another question in regard to the range of financial aid for students. So let's see. In regard to that, it would be, what is the range of amounts provided to students? Any percentage regarding what is received, like 10% of tuition for this many students, etc.
Yeah.
So
I would just say that, we can tell you the average award last year in the 21-22 school year was $12,123. That's an average award. So it could be 500 up to 14,000 that can be awarded. So it varies depending on your financial health.
And I would agree with that. I mean, it will really vary. I mean, again, nothing about Trinity Prep is cookie cutter. Your student schedule will be for your student, and so will your financial aid. So when thinking about an award that is appropriate, if we were to say like 15% of kids get this, that wouldn't be looking at your financial situation directly. So we take time in this, we dialogue with you, and we make sure we get it right. One of the things that usually makes my financial aid families happy is that we lost nobody due to in the COVID time. We lost nobody due to finances. We're going to try our best to take care of the families that attend Trinity Prep, even if there's ebb and flow in your situation. So we ask that you just work with us and give us an honest evaluation of your financial situation, so that we're able to fund as many families as possible, so that everybody has these great opportunities. But it's never going to be a cookie cutter mold. And that's why I give my email or call me directly, and we can discuss and kind of dissect your situation to learn a little bit more. Once you've submitted your application, I'll have more of an idea about where you may lie in terms of your financial aid awards and scholarships. So let's see. Okay, is tuition assistance independent of the new state of Florida scholarships for private schools, if one would qualify? So at this time, I would say we don't accept external scholarships. Some scholarships will have reimbursement policies where you can pay our billing office directly. However, at this time, we're not accepting external scholarships. So I'd have a little less information about that. And let's see, I think there was something else. Oh, okay. And another great question for clarifying information in regard to submitting your application. If you submitted your application today and you completed it tomorrow, you would still hear from us right after the financial aid deadline. The goal is to give a proactive space and time for our families to get the information in, so that if you do the right things, we can reward you with the right things. And so you'll hear from us directly after that deadline. That typically gives families enough time to make a decision, and typically it is also in advance of the other schools that you may be applying for. So likely you'll hear from us first in terms of financial aid deadlines and whatnot, and information, and likely admissions decisions as well. So we like to give you as much information as possible on the front end so that you're able to make a effective choice for your family.